Okay, everybody, we're here, we're ready, in my Academy Rouge, Academy pin, and it's time to review The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I'm so happy. For me, the movie, to sum it up in one word right now immediately, it's perfect. I think it's perfect. However, I'm already going to put like this disclaimer out here that 1, there's going to be spoilers in this video. 2, I need people to remember that this is a book to movie adaptation, and with every book to movie adaptation, there's going to be scenes and certain things in the book that are going to be left out of the movie. Okay? I need people to realize that. And I'm specifically talking about part 3 of the movie right now. So in the book, part 3 is probably the most grueling, longest part of the book, okay? Not a ton goes on until the last 2 to 3 chapters. And so for me personally, I like that they cut down part 3 a lot, okay? Now I think maybe a lot of other book fans and people who haven't even read the book might not enjoy it because there are certain things that were left out, like the covey wasn't really a big factor, okay? The covey was barely in it, other than singing with Lucy Gray sort of thing. We didn't go to their house, we didn't really, do a whole lot of covey cover, if you will. And we don't really see a lot of Coriolanus training as a peacekeeper, doing his peacekeeper duties. But the thing is that part 3 was very much, it's a long part of him waking up at the beginning of the chapter, and then by the end of the chapter going to bed, and that same day, and then the next chapter, it's the exact same thing. He wakes up the next day, goes to bed at the end of the chapter. It's just kind of a very continuous, there's no time jumps or anything in part 3, and it's very long and grueling, and the same thing kind of happens. And for me personally, I think they did a very good job with cutting down part 3 to what it needed to be for the movie. Now that being said, the 2 things that I did wish made it into the movie and were conveyed more in the movie are things that happen in part 3, and one of them being Snow's connection with the Mockingjay. We don't really see him handle the Mockingjays all that much, and Jabberjays and stuff like that. We don't really see that major connection that makes you as a reader in the book go, oh my god, this is why he hates Katniss, because she's called the Mockingjay and he hates Mockingjays. We don't really see his hatred for the bird necessarily as much, so that kind of removes the connection. Not entirely, but it removes a pretty big connection between him and Katniss. So that's one thing. But I completely understand why they did it. And then the second is that I wish the line, which is probably out there somewhere on film, but they just didn't put it in the movie, the line of Lucy Gray saying, "It's not over until the Mockingjay sings." I think that is one of my favorite lines in all of the Hunger Games in general. That line in and of itself encapsulates the entire franchise. It's not over until the Mockingjay sings. Okay. You say that, and like I said, that summarizes the entire franchise as a whole. It summarizes all 4 books, okay? So those are the 2 things that I kind of wished had made it into the movie. But for me personally, I can also look past those issues simply because I think that this movie is the best Hunger Games book to movie adaptation that we have. To me personally, this might be controversial, blows Catching Fire out of the water. And that might be controversial to say, but I just think that it's so impressive that they took this book, this just over 500 page book, and put it into one movie. And the only part that they really slate is part 3, which I think arguably is the most boring part of the book and the most grueling part of the book. I think that is so impressive. before I get into my favorite scenes and how I thought of everybody's performances and stuff like that, I want to talk about how I am actually very happy that this book was only made into one movie. Because when you're watching, and I could make a whole other video about this in general, just talking about it, but I'll try to summarize it. The fact that the only place that I could think of where they would cut the movie in half is when Lucy Gray looks into that camera and is singing The Old Thereafter. I think that's the title. With the snakes in her hands and stuff. That is where they would cut it. And then part 2 would basically strictly be part 3 of the book. And again, to me, part 3 of the book is the least interesting part of the book. Other than the fact that we get all of the mentionings and stuff that lead us to the original trilogy and stuff like that. But for me personally, I just think that if they had made a part 2 of the movie where it was just part 3, I feel like a lot of people would not have enjoyed it as much as part 1 and 2. Because part 1 and 2 are genuine, like, they are the bulk, you know, they are the most exciting, they are the action and everything like that. And then, like I said, part 3 is he goes to bed, he wakes up, he goes to bed, he wakes up, and it's all just day to day to day. And it doesn't get super ramped up and interesting until the last 2 different chapters. So, all that being said, I'm glad that it's only one movie. And again, that might be a controversial take, but that's also me. I would also be super impatient if I knew that I had to wait like another year for a part 2 of the movie that would mostly encapsulate a part of the book that I genuinely, it's not that I wasn't interested in it, but it took a long time to get through. If I knew I had to wait another year for that, I don't know how excited I would be. Personally. That's just me though. Anyways, I'll probably make a separate video just on that alone, about my controversial takes, I guess, of this movie. But I want to talk about cast performances, because wow, were they all amazing. Every single one. Stacked cast, oh my goodness. And first person I want to talk about is, of course, our Coriolanus Snow, Tom Blyth. Wow. I think wow is all I can say. The way that he so easily slipped into the character of Coriolanus Snow is insane. And then just seeing him, it was such a joy to see him crack at the end, which is kind of maybe another strange thing to say, but it's like we go from seeing him in the first 2 parts of the movie and he's like trying to do everything he can to save Lucy Gray, including cheating and stuff like that, which again, you know, for his own personal gain and everything like that, all that aside. But then we see him just fully snap at the end, and he's just like, essentially what he says at the end of the movie and at the end of the book, he's like, the world is an arena, and that's clear to me now. And if we don't have these games, then who's to say what, you know? And he makes it so difficult, which I think was genuinely part of the job, and he did so well in this. He makes it difficult for you to hate him as young Snow. But for me, Coriolanus in this movie, it's giving very much Cersei Lannister. Not that you're rooting for him, obviously, but it's like he's playing the game so well that you can't help but hate. Like, you can't help but not absolutely hate his guts. He gives Cersei Lannister, he's giving, and that's all I think I could say about that. Josh Andres Rivera as Sejanus Plinth, which is how they say it in the movie. Genuinely such a show-stopping performance. Like, the second he opened his mouth, I was like, oh, well, that's just Sejanus Plinth. Like, I don't know what to tell you right now, okay? Like, he's perfect. And he played him so well. He just understood the character. Every single actor in this movie understood their character to their core, and you can tell that all of them read the book. Like, they understood. They got it. There was no one more suited to play Sejanus than Josh. Like I said, just show-stopping performance, the emotion that he conveyed, everything. And the way, so here's the thing, in the book, you can't help but feel like, there's like a vibe between Sejanus and Coriolanus. In the movie, those two wanted to kiss so bad. Those two wanted to kiss so bad. You can't tell me otherwise. Anyways, Hunter Schafer as Tigris, Snow. When she was casted, I genuinely jumped out of my bed and was just like, yes. Because, once again, there was just no one better suited to play Tigris. Just so amazing. And one of my favorite things from her performance was watching Tigris be so proud of Corio, which is what she called him, to slowly seeing his demise and just not be able to recognize who he is as a person. And that's, again, like a testament to Tom's performance as well. And then we have Viola Davis, Peter Dinklage, and Jason Schwartzman. Of course, all three of them outstanding performances. All three of them just veterans in what they do. And the standout really was Jason. He did such a fantastic job as Lucky Flickerman. The comedic timing for Lucky was like, it was just really, really good. The comedic timing, especially considering the scenes in which the comedy had to come in. It's kind of like a, oh my god, I can't believe that was just said. And like, of course, this would be the only movie that you could get away with saying anything like that, And then, saving the best for last, Rachel Zegler as Lucy Gray. I don't think any actor has ever pulled so much emotion out of me than Rachel did as Lucy Gray. One of the things that I was super worried about in this movie was obviously the music, and because Lucy Gray's a musician, and I was very cautious about how they were going to approach the music and the singing and everything like that, and it was so good. It exceeded any and all expectations that I ever had, because Rachel's voice already perfection. Genuinely so beautiful. The way that she could change and adapt her voice, going from something like West Side Story to the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Wow. The conviction in her voice when she sings, I still get chills thinking about the scene in the arena when she's about to win with the snakes all over her. There's no other feeling to that feeling when I felt it, when I saw it for the first time. Like, it was such a delight to watch her, and it came so natural. The acting came so natural. Like, I genuinely, like, it's like all of these actors were possessed by their characters. This is literally one of those, the first movies that I've watched, and I'm like, these aren't even actors, these are real people. Like, the characters that they're playing, they're real. Like, Rachel is so good and so convincing as Lucy Gray that it's like, she's a chameleon, that woman. Like, I can't describe it. Y'all have to go see it, because she is phenomenal. Phenomenal is the only word. Like, she takes it. And if she doesn't get nominated for an Oscar, which I know this movie will not be nominated for any Oscars simply because the Oscars suck. But anyways, that's about it for the performances. And all the praises I have to say to everyone, because genuinely no one did a bad job. Like, even like Coral, oh my god. Coral was so good. Like, the actor that played Coral, and Lamina, I loved it. Jessup, Marcus, Reaper, oh my god, Reaper. Wow. Like, that's all I can say. Now, we're going to be getting into my favorite parts of this movie. This is going to be the heavy spoiler speak, if you will. So you've been warned. The first thing that hits you and hit me immediately was the score. Okay, it just right in your chest. The first scene, open scene, where it's Tigris, little Tigris in snow, running out in the cold at night. Actually, in the book, I don't even think it was literally snow. I mean, it was winter, but it was like ash that it was around them. Anyways, it hits you. And the score, it immediately, it's like, oh, we're back. Oh, we are so back. The score is so good, and that's genuinely what a lot of people are talking about. When I saw it at the premiere, it's actually the only thing I could think about and speak about once I was out of the movie. I was just like waiting, refreshing Spotify for so long, for over a week, because I was like, when is the score going to be on here? I need to listen to it. The score, it's Oscar worthy. James Newton Howard, hey, you're crazy. You're insane. And he has done every Hunger Games movie, and it's just, I can't, okay? Personally, I simply can't, because something about this score, even over the other Hunger Games movies, is just so special to me in my heart. Like, I can't. Okay? Like, we are so back. We are so back. And then again, I just want to reiterate, one of my favorite things was Tigris saying with such hope, Coriolanus Snow, future president of Panem, and she says it with such hope and pride and wanting and longing for a future that has no bloodshed, a future that holds peace. That Coriolanus was going to be the one to make a difference in the society that they lived in. But then as the movie goes on, when she says, I think you look just like your father, Coriolanus, it literally sends chills down my spine, because, and then watching Snow watch Tigris after she says that, seeing the cogs start to turn in his mind, again, Tom Blyth, I will get you that Oscar. Seeing the cogs turn in his mind of, what is the fastest way that I can get rid of you? And furthermore, thinking, so Tigris clearly in this movie conveys that she doesn't like the games. She thinks that, these children, they're innocent, they shouldn't be there, sort of thing. And so what does Snow do? Makes her a stylist in the games. Makes her do up all of these children that she, in her heart, cares for, because they are children, okay? He makes Tigris do them up all pretty, okay? Like, it just, the ways in which you can think into a spiral about this book and this movie is insane. So that's one of my favorite things. Just Snow and Tigris's relationship in general, and Tom and Hunter played them so well. Like, there were so many times where it brought tears to my eyes just thinking about Tigris and Snow, and how at one point Snow genuinely was like, I need to protect her. I need to protect Tigris. The things that she's done for me and my family, or just this family in general, no person should ever have to go through. And then by the end, he's like, I'm gonna make your life a living hell. Oh my god! Damn! Okay. And now, my favorite scene in the entire movie, and I think this is my favorite scene in the book as well, is when they're at the lake. By they, I mean Lucy Gray, Coriolanus, and the Covey. They're down at the lake, and Maud Ivory brings over a Katniss root to Lucy. And Snow's like, what is this? Like, you know. And then Lucy Gray says Katniss's name. And you hear the echo of Katniss's theme from the original trilogy. There's actually nothing in this world that could have prepared me for this moment. I was sitting at the premiere watching, and I went, oh my god. I said it out loud, pretty loudly as well. I said, oh my god, and covered my mouth and promptly started sobbing. Okay, I did not expect that to happen, but it's one of, I think, the best things that's ever happened to me. And one of the smartest things, I think, ever done in cinematic history. Okay, that might be dramatic, but I don't care. I think that it was just so smart. It's just this echo that starts to loom over Coriolanus. And it's just like she's there, but she wasn't. Like, she's been there the entire time. She was always going to haunt Snow. Always. Oh my god, and it's just genuinely... When I was on the plane home from London, I thought about that scene 6 times, and I cried all 6 of those times. Like, it was just... I don't think... Like I said, nothing could have prepared me for that. Absolutely nothing. And it gives me chills thinking about it. And furthermore, the fact that the song kept playing as the conversation went out about talking about trust and how trust is super important to Lucy, just like it was for Katniss. And those are 2 characters where it's like, their trust is more important than love. Like, they need to trust you to love you. And that's when you can start to see the demise of Snow and Lucy Gray. Because Lucy starts to immediately not trust Snow after he says, yeah, I've killed 3 people. And she goes, you killed 3 people? Who's the 3rd? He stupidly is like, oh, I had to myself because I had to be with you. And she was like, lying son of a bitch. Like, oh my god, I love Lucy Gray. So that's my favorite scene. And then furthermore, about implementing the original trilogy score to this score, of when we see Lucy Gray and Snow walking to the cabin at the end when they're about to run away north. We have Rachel singing The Hanging Tree, and just like in Mockingjay Part 1, when we hear Jennifer Lawrence singing Hanging Tree, they have that same score underneath it. It's the same score when they're both singing The Hanging Tree. And I was crying in the movie theater because it just, the callbacks in this movie in general, I think they did so well with the callbacks to the original trilogy. With those callbacks, it truly is, like, you know that this is for huge fans of the Hunger Games. Like, I think they did justice for the fans of the Hunger Games. They did justice. They did so well. Ugh. So yeah, that's another favorite scene. All of the callbacks to the original films. And then just the score underneath Rachel singing The Hanging Tree being the same as when Jennifer sings The Hanging Tree. Like, they knew exactly what they were doing. They knew what they were doing. They had this up in their mind for so long. Oh my god. They're geniuses. Geniuses, I'm telling you. And then another one of my favorite things is, once again, seeing how easily Tom descended Snow into madness. Oh, it was too easy. it was too easy for him, genuinely. Like, it was so bone-chillingly good to watch. And I watched it, I've seen it twice now. And when he is going after Lucy Gray, and I think one of my favorite tiny little details is when he takes Lucy Gray's earring and he just puts it in his pocket and just like flips his shirt out. He's like, eh. He's crazy. He's insane. And he did that so well. I can't explain it. Like, it just, you have to watch it to believe it. And it's genuinely from that moment on, anything that Snow does, it's like it's calculated. I mean, even before that, everything that he did was calculated and thought out, but it was pretty quick and on his feet. But after that point, he was like, I can't trust anyone. I have to start poisoning everyone. So, and then another one of my favorite scenes, and then this also goes with the score, the Song of Saving Snow. When the arena blows up and Lucy Gray goes back to save Snow, this scene where the camera's panned up and we see Lucy Gray and she's just this giant. For some reason, that is one of my favorite scenes as well. Like, it was so good. It gave me chills. And it's slow-mo. And she saves him. And the score and the emotion and everything is so good. The action, everything, the build-up, the lighting, the acting. Oh my god. Like, I think this whole movie was my favorite. The whole movie was my favorite part, actually. Fun fact. And then again, kind of just in general, any shot where the camera was low and we saw up, I don't know why, all of those shots really did it for me. I loved them. I thought that they were really good. And I feel like in a lot of the movies that I watch, you don't really see that kind of perspective, I guess, when you're filming. Again, from most of the movies or television shows that I watch. So it was very interesting. And I think it played really well. I think it played really well also with the fact how the book was told in third person POV. And having more than one person in the shot at all times. Like, honestly, like, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. And then I think the best scene in this movie, truly, like, it made my heart stop, is the scene when the snakes surround Lucy Gray at the end of the games. Just when she says the lines, "When I've learned how to love," and she's staring in the camera, and just the conviction in her voice, that is a scene that's going to live in my mind for the rest of my life. Like, I close my eyes and I think about that scene. I think that scene became my new Roman Empire. I think that's the best scene in the whole movie, and it's one of my favorite scenes in the book in general. And they did so well. And how Rachel goes from being terrified, and she's singing the song because she's like, I'm about to die. I'm literally about to die. So here's one last song, I guess. I want to go out singing. And then she starts to realize the snakes are surrounding her. And they're not killing her. And she just is filled with power. And her voice goes from scared and shaking and frail to powerful and strong and convincing. Like, and her looking into the camera, chills. I have chills right now, okay? And it just, when I say my heart stopped in the theater, I genuinely mean it, simply because when she looked in that camera, she looked into my soul, and she sung with everything that she has in her. And and let me tell you one thing about the soundtrack in general. I am so happy that the soundtrack is what it sounds like in the movie, because I thought it was going to be pre-recorded because I know that Rachel sang live. For all of the songs that she sang live, okay, in the movie. And I thought when we got the album on Spotify and stuff like that, it was going to be kind of this pre-recorded music and that it wasn't going to sound the exact same as it is in the movie. No, they were also smart about that, and they said, we need to put, okay, so she sung live in the movie, we're going to put those on the album. Because why wouldn't we, you know? But yeah, that's the best scene in the movie. Period. Point blank. Period. But in summary, every performance was perfect. They did so well in convincing you that they were their characters that it made me forget that I was simply just watching a movie. Made me forget that I was watching people be characters in a fictional universe, and it felt so real. I like that it was one big long movie. Sue me. Again, I could make a video just on that. I can make a video on how genuinely I think this is my favorite Hunger Games movie. Once again, sue me. I can make a video about how I think this is the best Hunger Games adaptation. Let me know if y'all want that. Controversial opinions, controversial takes, I guess, on the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. But yeah, in summary, to me, this movie is perfect. And as a huge, huge fan of this book and a fan of the Hunger Games movies and books for over a decade, they did this book so much justice. And I am just so happy with it, because I was so worried for the longest time that if it was one movie, it wasn't going to be enough. How they were going to incorporate the music, how they were going to get so much of this information into one movie, but they did it. They did it, and I think they did it flawlessly. But hey, that could just be me. And one thing is that I don't think that you have to have read the book to enjoy the movie. And I'm someone that quite literally was like, if you don't read, I was worried that if people hadn't read the book, that they weren't going to enjoy the movie. But I think you can still enjoy this movie immensely without having read the book. Because when I was at the premiere, I had 2 people beside me who hadn't read the book. Okay? And they understood the movie. It was so easy to follow. Okay? That's one thing. It was easy to follow, and it was entertaining and engaging for the entire movie. You cannot take your eyes off of this movie because it's that engaging. Like, I'm so impressed and happy with how this movie is and what it became. And yeah, I think it's just perfect, and it's 5 stars for me, okay? Like, it was gonna be 5 stars no matter what, okay? It's just amazing, and I hope you all get to go see it in theaters. I do still think that, like, this is honestly, it's gonna be a great movie even to, like, stream and whatever, and watch it on your laptop, watch it on a television. But watching it in the theaters, obviously, is the best. I can already see myself rewatching this movie again and again and again. Once it comes on to streaming, boom, it's being played immediately. And I think that's all. I think that is all for my review of The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. If y'all have seen it, drop a comment down below of what y'all thought of the movie, and if you liked part 3, if you thought part 3 went too fast, like, give me your thoughts and opinions. Everyone's opinion is going to be different on the movie, especially if you're a book reader. So I think that's it. I think that perfectly encapsulates my thoughts and feelings on the movie. And like I said, there's probably going to be so many more videos coming from me about this movie. It's going to be very hard for me to shut up about this. Like, premiere aside, even if I hadn't gone to the premiere, I would still be making these videos. Like, I would still never shut up about this movie. And everybody who was in it and everything. So I'm gonna finally shut up about my review now, though, and I'm gonna go. But I hope y'all enjoyed, and let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comments.